What's up, Broods and Brudettes? It's the PicoDudes! This is Jeremy Hidalgo, and with me is two thumbs up Sam Rathert and a flushing toilet.
It's me, a Samuel.
Are you Luigi from the Cars movie?
Did you from the Cars movie?
Yeah.
What the sniznits? It's now. Do you ever play Luigi's Haunted Mansion?
Yes.
It's like an N64 game.
Man, I have to go like way back in the memory banks for that.
And
yes.
Mario disappears in this mansion. Luigi has to wander around it. There's ghosts everywhere that he has to capture. And he spends half his time wandering around this mansion going, Mario! Which is kind of funny. But then the other half of the time he spends assaulting furniture and going, oh. So it's,
I wish we were doing video for your reenactment of Luigi assaulting furniture.
Luigi's Haunted Mansion, play it just for the furniture assaulting scenes, which happen every 30 seconds.
Oh, man.
That's the only way to find all the cool stuff.
And we broke podcast rule again because
we broke all the podcast rules. Here, you talk while I break another podcast rule.
We're all about breaking podcast rules and eating chips. Today, on the PicoDudes episode, we are reviewing Whetstone Brewery
802 Brew.
802 Brew.
802! In the house. And eating Cool Ranch Doritos if you're on my side of the table because I'm starving.
And I'm on keto. But not really starving. But I am enjoying this 802 Brew. So
yeah, so you got your 1.5 ounce glass that you're allowed to drink. That's cute.
But I can have a few 1.5 ounce glasses. It makes me feel like I'm drinking more.
Such a man. I've had 4 glasses today. So 802 Brew. I'm excited for you to try this because this is one of these experimental things for me. So this is a brew I brewed up.
Okay.
In case anyone cares.
On like your Pico Brew?
Yes, on my Pico Brew. And it was, remember I told you I'm kind of getting into trying some of these hoppy beers.
Yeah.
I'm a hoppy guy.
Yep.
So as I turn in this little hophead, I've got, and we're going to try a couple more over the next few weeks. But this is the first one, and it is an American IPA. And I really am falling towards the American IPAs because I've discovered I like hops. I just only like a couple hops. So
did that make you like turn Southern?
Like, or Cheech and Chong, I don't know. Dave, Dave's not here, man. I like hops, but I like Citra, Mosaic, Galaxy, Eldorado. I like those hops. These are American hops that appear in American IPAs. These are not traditional IPA hops.
They're making hops great again.
Make hops great again.
The hops were always great. I don't know why I said that. But so those are some really good hops. We like the double IPA that you've brewed here is by Whetstone Craft Beers, right?
It is by Whetstone Craft Beers. That is exactly who it is by.
So a little bit about Whetstone Craft Beers. They are a experimental nano brewery which produces small handcrafted batches. They only tap a few of their beers at a time and shake up the variety of styles regularly. They have a couple of staple beers, the Big Stoner, the Wet Stoner.
I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah.
Did you try the 420?
You'll also find our flagship Big Stoner, Off the Rails, Mug Life, and Hot Ticket in regular rotation in their tap house. Anyways, founders are Tim and Amy Brady and David Hiller.
Amy Brady.
I hope my writing's messy. I hope that has to be
Wouldn't
your
that
name.
suck if you screwed that up?
Yeah, well, that has to be your name. Otherwise, that's Army, and I don't think anybody named their child Army Brady.
All the armies that are listening, and I know one army in my life that they are probably very put out right now.
They put out?
Jesus. Okay, this is what happens when we record multiple episodes in a night. And this is a big brew. So this is not an American IPA. This is an American double IPA.
So how big is your
It's a
Wet
DP.
Stoner right now?
It's almost 8% alcohol. It's 7.7% alcohol. And 80 IBUs, which to me, if I saw 80 IBUs on a bottle or in a restaurant,
You pass.
No, I'm out. 80 IBUs. SRM 11, if anybody cares, it's got a little bit more color than you might normally see, but
I don't know. It kind of looks like a 4.
it's almost indistinguishable from a Moen time. Watch the video. Yeah, we're on YouTube now, right?
Yeah.
Was
that a Beetlejuice voice you did?
I did Beetlejuice. I have no idea. That was my. Did you see Super Troopers 2 yet?
No. Is it good? Is it as good as the first?
Nothing will ever be as good as the first because Meow Sketch is the single best like film sketch. I love Meow Sketch, but it has its moments. It's worth seeing, but it's probably not worth seeing alone. So I'm going to recommend it with I give it a 3.75.
Should we drink some of this Whetstone 802 brew prior to watching it?
Yeah, you know where 802 gets its name, right?
No.
802 is the area code in Vermont where Whetstone Craft Brews is from.
Ah, well, that
Whetstone
makes
Craft
sense.
Beers. So area code 802. And one of the neat things about this beer is when they brew this beer at their own brewery, in their nano brewery, they make small batches. And when they've made this, they make it with all Vermont-based products. So get this, you got they get your hops, they get your malts, your grain. They're trying to source the water even locally. Even cooler, which is why it's called 802, because everything comes from the area code.
Mm-hmm.
There is an entire secret ingredient cup of maple syrup in this beer.
From Vermont.
Well, mine was not. But
Okay.
theirs is. Mine was from Costco. But I added an entire cup. I think it only asked for 3/4, and if it asks for 3/4, you should put in a full cup. Who wants to measure in quarters?
So your ABV is probably slightly higher.
It's
than
probably a
7.7,
little bit
yeah.
higher, or it's probably 8% or better. And here I'm twisting this cord around my finger like it was like
You shouldn't do that.
I had hair. If I had hair to do this with, I would be doing this.
Don't do that.
No, I'm trying because of destroying your cord. So this
Those are your headphones, by the way.
they are. This 802 brew, what happens is as soon as I was done brewing in my Pico brew, I pop everything off. I take this hot wort and I pop the lid open and burn myself because that's the best way to do it. Be warned, there's hot air inside that brew keg.
You need to get like those big heat retardant gloves or something like you wear when you're using a brew kettle.
You can't call it heat retardant. Only my people can call it heat retardant.
Heat challenged.
So yes, you're right. It's hot. Wear some gloves. Pop this sucker open and pour in that hot wort a whole cup of maple syrup. And I have no idea what this is going to do to the brew. I don't know if this thing's going to taste like pancakes or if it's going to taste all weird and sour because all the sugar gets used up.
I kind of like the idea of the first one. Anybody who can come up with a recipe to make your
A
beer
that
taste like
like
pancakes would
not just straight pancakes. Pancakes with butter and maple syrup. It's got to be the whole stack.
So Rogue Brewery probably doesn't listen to us, but if they did, they'd be like, "Oh yeah,
no,
we're gonna go do that."
Fans.
Oh right, and so is Whetstone. So since they're experimental nano brewery, maybe they could figure out a way to maybe add the maple syrup later on. Right before the fermentation.
After those people who like to dry syrup. I like
too
dry
sticky.
syrup.
No dry syruping. I'll just add another 1/4 cup to your brew right before you.
I'm curious because I will say,
it.
and we'll get into the tastes in a minute, but I can say that the maple syrup does not provide any flavor that is overpowering. It does definitely up the alcohol, provides a nice level sweetness, but we'll get into that. I will probably brew this again. We'll talk about our ratings in a minute. I may try doing more maple syrup just to see what happens.
That'd be good if you could find one that was like extra mapley. So like the
maplest syrup they have.
That's what you should search for. Like,
excuse me, do you have syrup with extra maple?
I can just picture you in the aisle of your grocery store going, not mapley enough.
Not enough maple.
Was there an equivalent to IBUs for maple rating?
Do you have extra maple?
You're gonna have to
what's maple taste like?
Well, maple. Dipshit.
Wow. Jesus, Spike, back off. So yeah, I want to do this beer again. I'm telling you right now, I want to do this beer again.
I want to do this beer.
Which makes you understand kind of how I feel about it. I will also say it's a dry hopped beer. So this is a beer. IBU's 80. It is banging. Galaxy, Citra, El Dorado, which is why I picked it out of the brew marketplace. It's got 2-row wheat and crystal malts, which are all, those good American grains. It's got those American hops. Galaxy, I don't like on its own, but mixed well is really good, and it provides a good initial bitterness. Mm-hmm. Citra, everybody knows Citra and the great nose it gives it. El Dorado, I think, has the finish on this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the heck I dry hopped with. All I know is it could barely fit in that little extra little box you get.
Oh, that they give you, yeah.
Because there was so much of it. Yeah. And I've changed how I dry hop. So I tried dry hopping a couple beers where 3 or 4 days after I brewed, I dropped in my dry hops and they sat there for a couple weeks. And the way I've been brewing now is I try and brew, ferment for 2 weeks, then bottle condition, which is what I did with this, with the sugars that are provided, just split it between 5 bottles, bottle condition, let that sit for 2 weeks. This time I waited until about 4 days before I went to bottle, before I added my hops. Because I feel like I've been getting overly hoppy almost to the point of
like
420, not 802.
What area code is that?
You know what area code that is. By the way, also the date Super Troopers was released.
Yeah. I don't know why that was.
I can't figure it out. And so I waited. I put in the dry hops about 4 days before I bottled this, and I think it turned out really good. But what we should probably do, let's get in and talk about the beer. Maybe get to you're going to need some more, aren't you?
I am going to need some more.
That thing is a sippy cup.
It is. Well, it's not because it doesn't have a top on it, but it is. It's tiny.
It's so cute. Your 1.5 ounce glass here. You could have just gotten a big boy glass, and I could have just poured this once.
I know, but then I couldn't track my carbs.
Here's the trick: is you really need to get an entire mouthful of this at once to get the full flavor. Look at that perfect pour.
That was a perfect pour.
I gotta say, this is one of the headiest beers I have ever made.
Yep.
And at first, I thought, did I over sugar? Would you laugh?
No, because you're like trying to.
What you laughing at, Willis? Oh, it's like real. Like if we're on video, it's like a ninja move. Got to get my face near the mic while I put this over here. This beer, it does not taste overly carbonated in any way, but man, when you pour it, it's got head
for days.
My first couple pours was half beer, half head, and that was like being gentle. If I would have gone all in, it probably would have had like an inch of beer. However, the head settles down pretty quick.
Yeah.
And what you get, I think, is a really well carbonated beer.
Yeah. Well, because you have the thick head on there, it's releasing a lot of aroma, right?
So much.
The aroma to me is just like this kind of a wet, hoppy aroma. Like you took a bunch of hops, poured beer over the top, and then you just stuck your face in there
and smell it.
Like motorboat it. You just
wow. That's a D cup of hops right there.
Yeah, so that's what it smells like. And when you take a drink, that's your first flavor. Is like
it's just a hop explosion in your mouth.
Exactly. And it's there. It's like all there. It's juicy, wet hops, boom. And then it kind of gets nudged out of the way by this initial hit of like sweetness, which doesn't taste mapley, but is definitely there. It's definitely sweet. And then it kind of fades off a little bit to a bitter taste. So you get the bittering hops coming in like right afterwards. And because you have this weird transition kind of going in your mouth, the initial taste, I wasn't sure what to think. And then all of a sudden, like then all this transformation goes, and like the IBUs are really a non-factor. This doesn't taste like a bitter beer at all.
This does not taste like an IBU 80 beer.
No.
By any means.
No, this tastes like an IBU 20 beer.
Yeah, I'd say 30 maybe, but it does not have that. So if I were to describe this beer in sounds, it's let me try this.
In sounds?
Mm-hmm. It's How was that?
That was pretty accurate.
I mean, it's like a 3-stage beer. Because what was weird is
I was waiting for you to go into the Luigi assaulting furniture noise.
Mario. I got the exact same note you did. I got a 3-stage beer, which I love. It's got a complexity to it. That giant, juicy hop hits you right in the mouth with a lot of good mouthfeel, a lot of good flavor.
Like if a hop was an apple and you took a bite out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it turns into just a sweetness, not overly sweet, not maple, not pure sugar, but just a nice sweetness, like the sweetness of a good apple.
Yeah.
But this doesn't taste like an apple. We suck at this. And then it's
like an apple, but not an apple at all.
You know, like an
whatsoever.
apple, but more of an orange.
But if a hop was an apple, you could take a bite of it. It'd be like that.
And then whisks you to a bitter that I find less of a, because you've seen me. I've had those beers, and I was telling you about, what's the crazy Tiger Elysian beer?
Oh, Dayglow.
Dayglow.
Yeah.
And that's the same. Galaxy, Citra, Eldorado. And I tried that. And as soon as I swallow, my face goes, "Nyeh," and I'm like, not happy. It's too much. It's the same IBU. It's too much. It just hits me, and it's like someone just is squeezing your tongue with really sharp fingernails. That's really bad analogy also, but that's horrible, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a bad thing to put your tongue through.
That bitterness that hits you is not a bad bitter, but it's almost a cleansing bitter.
Yeah.
And as soon as it's done, I'm like, I need another hit of that.
Yeah.
So to me, this is an addictive beer. This gets close. When I say close, maybe better than the NB30, which got me started on my hop journey to begin with.
Well,
I'll shut up for a minute.
that's a lot. That's a lot to follow right there.
But I want to make love to this beer.
What's Luigi doing to the couch?
Oi! Oh! Oh!
Just to be clear, that's you with your beer.
That's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah.
I hope that I find a camera or something. But no, this beer.
So the weird thing though, not weird, but I get sort of after your couch love and all of that goes through your mouth, then there's this sweet aftertaste where you're sitting there and you've gone through the.
Are you going to the 4th stage?
Yeah, the 4th stage is this
Wow.
really kind of it just sits on your tongue. And it's there, and it's a little bit sweet, and it just beckons you to take another mouthful.
That's what I get. Is that
Yeah.
I want another.
Yeah.
That I want another hit of that. So this is what I really like. Is I'm not an Andy Lusk. I've made myself 100 or 200 brews, but I've made a few.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is I have found that Pico Brew brews are often a bit more mellow than their store-bought cousins.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind them mellow, but they're also not often as complex as their store-bought cousins. They're usually much more simple in the flavors. This one, to me, goes through those multiple stages and so far is the most complex of the beers that I've personally brewed.
Yeah.
And I kind of dig that because I like drinking beer just to have a nice flavor and drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll knock back a mowing time and just get your beer on and barbecue and all that, and it's good to pair that with the food. But I have yet to have a Pico Brew brewed beer, and I've had a couple that are close, but yet to have one that I'm like, wow, that's something I can sit and just wonder and just taste and really enjoy. And I'm big into Bodhi now, Bodhi Zafo, which is from Georgetown Brewery.
Yep. So
another great IPA. Like that's my go-to restaurant when I go to a restaurant. I'm like, they gotta have Bodhi or I'm not eating here. And this is, it's not Bodhi, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying it's worse than it.
It's really close. I think the main difference is Bodhi's a little bit more floral, right? It's got a little bit more of that florally nose, and there's that little bit like fresher, kind of crisper.
I should have brought some. I have a whole bunch. I wish I brought some to compare it to.
Yeah, that would be the only difference I see between these two mainly, but it does. It has that kind of a sweet. It's got a lushness to it that when you drink it, there's that little bit of a tropical fruit flavor that kind of follows. And this doesn't have that. It's offset by that sweetness of the maple syrup additive, I'm sure. But it's not the same flavor that you would associate with a maple syrup. It's not that sugary
sweet.
like
yeah.
It's
cloying.
Yeah,
there's no cloying to it at all.
Yeah, it's a really light It's a really light sweetness that's almost reminiscent of like a um I don't know, like maybe a really light fresh fig flavor, something like that. Like, anyways,
Fig Newton?
no, because those are
Newton?
dried figs where there's much more sugary and more
Oh,
concentrated.
you're
But like
right.
if you've ever had a
dried
fresh
fig
fig,
versus fresh figs. All you fig lovers out there
hey,
who can't stop eating figs. Hey, how have you been pooping lately, Jeremy?
well, I haven't been eating figs, so you fill in the blanks.
You've been eating nothing but meat, so I can only imagine it's been abhorrent.
Skadoosh.
So
And now I'm adding beer to the mix, so that's gonna be awesome.
look, my beer, you rate. What do you put this beer at in your beer drinking scale?
Well, considering I'm probably gonna go put this into my cart on the Brew Marketplace, I think I'm at like a 4.25, 4.5-ish. And that's even with the reduced, like, adjusted scale.
Oh yeah, and for those that didn't listen a few episodes back, Spike adjusted his scale to stop giving 5s to everything he drinks that tastes like beer.
or Denny Con port.
Or
Anything that was
anything made by
past an
Denny Con.
SRM of like 12.
I love dark beers. I like my beer like I like my men.
Why do you like men?
Moving on. Is there something wrong with that?
Nope.
Okay,
Nothing
just
at all.
because you gave
I'm
me
just
a
asking,
look.
You are a happily
No,
married man. I'm
whatever,
just wondering-
homophobe.
Homophobe?
I am a homophobe. If I am in the gym, that's the last thing I want to shower next to. I'm like, where's the dude with the smallest package? I'm showering next to him. Wow, that was too much information.
Really? Because I'm more like I'm looking for the private stall.
You're like, why do you keep showering next to me?
There's only one shower head in here, buddy. Get out. Wait a minute. This isn't even a shower stall. I'm taking a dump. Why is there a naked man standing next to me?
Tuck rule. This beer is dangerous. Holy moly.
This beer is fun.
We just started drinking this a few minutes. Okay, half an hour or so. You can't even breathe. Your nose is running.
Yeah. 22 minutes ago, we started drinking this.
And I'm already like, I can't feel my arms. I don't think this is 8%.
No, I think you up the ante by going another quarter
with the
cup.
extra cup of maple syrup. I would tell you this. My rating on this beer, I wanted to go with a 4.75. I'm probably going to pull it back to a 4.5 because I don't want to be a homer. But I'm brewing this again. This and the NB30 are two of my favorite packs. I dug the Denny Con. It was super good. But I'm not going to go sit out on my porch.
It's a heavier beer.
It's a heavier beer.
Yeah, it's like eating a brownie after dinner.
Yeah, and I don't do that. I'm not into that. I might have one instead of dinner, which I will do with a Denny Con.
Yeah.
But this is, and I've had it with burgers. This goes so good with barbecue. It goes so good with burgers. Anything that's got some good flavor, because this has its own flavor to it. You don't want to eat it with a mild flavored rice.
Yeah.
You want to have something that's got some condiments on it, because
Very savory.
this cuts through that and it allows you to enjoy both flavors really well.
So I think this is one, go buy it, brew it up, have your buddies over, play poker, go sit on the porch and talk smack. Just have a good time drinking this with good company.
Heck yeah.
Because that's this beer right here. I mean, I don't think there's not a lot of beer drinkers that would be turned off by this. It's not so over the top IPA that people would be like, oh my gosh, it's like Day Glow where it's so harsh and you got the fingernails in your tongue and all that stuff. This is, you drink this, you enjoy it, and then you really enjoy it, especially once the ABVs kick in.
Heck yeah. I totally agree. 802 Brew by Whetstone Craft Beers. Like, if I was independently wealthy and didn't have a job, I'm flying to Vermont in a couple weeks because I want to go visit these guys. This thing is good.
I love it.
I love it. So I'm going to leave it at a 4.5. I'm going to go rate it online and all that. But that's my taste of the 802 Brew from Whetstone Craft Beers. So you know what else is coming up?
What's coming up?
You know I like me an American Pale Ale.
You do.
Kind of like Whetstone Craft Beers 802 Brew.
Yeah.
I
wish we were running video for that.
You sure do. So there's another American Pale Ale that's on special. This is hopefully going to release Saturday the 21st, I think.
I'm totally buying this one.
So I'm totally buying this one. This is called Amber Waves. It's an American Pale Ale, and it's from a place down the street called Herb Farm.
Herb.
You got to call it Herb's Farm.
No, I'm just saying Herb.
The Herb Farm. It's the Herb Farm. Depends on if you're from Bellevue. And so
but it's in Woodinville.
It is. And the Herb Farm is considered in a lot of magazines I've read one of the top restaurants in the country, not just in Washington, but in the country. And it's often in the top 2 for Washington State. And it's a very select type restaurant right next to Barking Frog at Willow's Lodge there in Woodinville. And they do, it's
right next to the old Red Hook Brewery.
Right next to the old Red Hook Brewery, which is, by the way, no longer Red Hook Brewery. Did you see they sold it off and moved?
Yep, they're gone. Forecaster's Pub closed. It's a
Yeah.
shame. Like Forecaster's Pub was some good
We
eats and
got
some
there
good
all the
beer.
time. So goodbye, Red Hook. They're not gone forever, but they're moving to Seattle. And you know what? Now they're part of the big brewery system. And you know what? Join a Legion, do all your things there. Fine, be that way. Go sell out. You sellouts. I'm so sad you sellouts. Anyway, sorry. Where's the video?
Sell out with me tonight.
So this place, Herb Farm. If you got $150 a person to
You
spend,
got more money than you want to spend.
and that's without the wine. You want to add the wine pairings to it. If you're not shy about spending $500 for 2 people to have dinner, Herb Farm makes a crazy pre-feed type dinner where it's fixed course. I think it's like 7 course. Understand this: if your stomach's not used to it, you probably will be sick by the end of the night.
Is that a ringing endorsement? Is it because it's just so rich?
It's super rich. It's unique stuff. It is mostly locally sourced, but there's so much that I really think that you need to, even though you think the portions are small once you get through multiple courses.
It's like 7-course meal or something
Exactly.
like that, right?
Go easy on yourself. But to do something that's unique and individual, and then, so they're an amazing place to go eat.
Okay.
It's that once in a lifetime experience that you do and you either love or you go, well, that was interesting. I'll never do that again. But next, they do something called the 100-mile dinner.
Okay.
And that 100-mile dinner is where every single thing you eat, drink, etc., came from within a 100-mile radius of the Herb Farm. So all of the fruit, the vegetables, the fruits, the meats, the water, the wine, everything comes from a 100-mile radius. And then they went and made a beer of the same kind.
Really?
And that's called Amber Waves. It's on special. So if you're listening to this on Saturday the 21st or within a couple days, it is on special, 25% off in the Brew Marketplace until the 24th of July 2018. And you can go pick this thing up. And they've made the pack. And Ron Zimmerman, who basically runs a restaurant, he's a proprietor. He also bought, I think he bought 2 Zymatics. And he has been, I know he's had at least 1 Zymatic. He's brewed over 30 batches just of this 100-mile beer in that Zymatic to perfect that recipe. And now he's put it out on the marketplace so you can go out and try his 100-mile beer, which is the Amber Waves, available right now. And I'm going to give it a shot. I'm ordering it up, and I expect in a couple months you're going to hear us talk about the Amber Waves. If you want to join in and brew it yourself, go grab the pack, and then you can compare your notes with our notes.
That'd be great. I think if we can, maybe we'll see if we can reach out to that dude with the Zymatic who's brewing this beer and see if he wants to tell us a little bit about it and the herb farm and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I am so hoping he's not hoity-toity, because as much as this restaurant's amazing, it is that fear of, hey, are we too hoity-toity? And, are we above the PicoDudes?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's the PicoDudes.
Dude, we're so high class.
But for me to get Skagit Valley 2-row barley, to get Yakima Valley Cascade and Centennial hops, and put that together into a beer and say, wow. I mean, I got to try it. I think as Northwesties, we have to try. Hopefully people all over the world are willing to try it and find out if Washington can make a beer that's completely sourced out of Washington.
Yeah. Well, I think we know we can. Like, I'm growing hops over on the side of my house right now.
You sure are. How's that going?
Well,
up crazy vines.
And then back down the side of the house. They're like, I got 2 vines that are just like going nuts. 2 of the other vines aren't doing so good.
That's because the cat keeps pooping in them.
No, I solved that problem.
You killed the cat.
No, dude.
I'm like, you grab it by the pussy.
Yeah,
because it's a cat. I meant you picked up the cat.
Thanks, Trump. Yeah, no. I just put animal deterrent
feces?
Spray around it.
Yeah, I find if you spread canine feces around things, then other animals will stop approaching.
I just peed around everything.
I was gonna suggest that, but I didn't want to make you feel weird.
Yeah, no, I didn't. The only thing that made me feel weird was when my neighbors caught me. I'm just kidding.
And it's not even my yard.
Dude, this is my house. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm trying to keep your cat away.
Well, I planted these hops next to your house a few weeks ago, and your cat keeps pooping in them. So, anyways, I can't wait. Are you planning on doing a Pico Brew at some point with your own hops?
Yes, around autumn, and I think I'm going to do the Autumnator Doppelbock again.
Oh yeah, because that was one of the first brews you ever did.
And depending on the yield I get from the hops, I
yield.
Yes. I surrender. If I can get them into submission, I will put them in there. So
put your hands up.
Oh man. So
I love this beer.
It is really good.
This is a 5.5-star beer.
Yes.
I can't stop drinking it.
I had to stop drinking it because you haven't poured me anymore.
So, is there anything else wild and crazy coming up?
We're going to do the kind of a head-to-head, not competitive Stingray.
Non-competitive. Let's be clear about
Very
this.
clear, non-competitive.
We brewed it differently on purpose.
Yes.
And we're just going to let nature decide that mine's better.
So, or potentially the yeast. So if by nature you mean yeast, then I guess we can go that route.
But here's the thing: is I see a lot of stuff on the websites about, and I even went through one just the other day where I kind of cut in. A guy was brewing Rogue Dead Guy Ale, and he's saying, "Hey, this yeast that comes with it, is it any good? Should I try it?" And my recommendation was yes, please do, because Rogue's Dead Guy Ale, it's great, Maybach style, wonderful beer. Try it, and he's brand new Pico brewer.
Yeah.
And someone else cut in and said, yeah, it's okay, but the yeast that comes with it sucks. Do it with Y yeast 1450. And
so what are you doing?
Well, I'm doing Rogue Dead Guy Ale with 1450 also.
Nice. I want to try that.
So that is, by the way, remember I told you that I already harvested my yeast for one brew?
Mm-hmm.
I have a second brew going that I'm bottling this weekend. I'm harvesting that yeast and putting a Rogue Dead Guy Ale on it.
That'll be
a Y yeast 1450, because we've already done one of our first brews, I think, Rogue Dead Guy Ale, from our friend Brendan Harding.
Yep.
Who we hope to get back on the podcast. Brew something, Brendan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. And he's working on it. And he's got a Pico still.
Ooh, so he's totally going to make stuff that we're not allowed to talk about.
Well, but we can talk about
all these hop oils and essential oils. Oh my God, Brendan, these are the best.
Rub them all over your
We're
face.
gonna get so messed up on these essential oils.
Oh God. So it's gonna be like the
next. If we say the word essential oil in that episode, it means whiskey. No. Oh my God, this essential oil has a great flavor.
It tastes like burning. I think we did something wrong. So no, we've also got the Populux.
You think Brendan's scared of the Popo? Really?
No.
The man's a monster. He's like Mini Hulk or Maxi Hulk.
Maxi Hulk. I guess.
The Hulk on his time of the month. I don't know what that means. Roar.
He's the Hulk part.
Smash. What happens if Hulk gets angry?
You don't like him when he's angry.
Dang it. That's what I thought you were going to say.
So Populux Brewing did the Cinder Block Cascadian Dark Ale. Pico Brew was running a special on this a couple weeks back. You could pick up the Cinder Block and Two Fellas IPA for about $13 a box. So I did.
Oh, you did? I was wondering
Yeah.
where this was going.
So I did. I've got that
You
coming
got them
up.
both?
I got them both.
Nice.
I have only so far brewed the Cinder Block Cascadian Dark IPA. I fermented that with the 1450 Denny's favorite.
So, could you describe how that yeast arrives at your house?
In a smash pack
Uh-huh.
smack pack.
Smack pack, yeah.
Smack pack.
Yeah.
Right on the door. I don't know. Anyway, so you get
And
it
did you smack successfully?
like the fourth or fifth time in.
Okay, because I went Ike Turner on my smack pack. And I still had to.
Why did you beat Tino with it?
I told you. I went crazy on this thing, and I've never had a liquid yeast before. So for those who have never done this like me, it comes in this package, and in it is
It's like a flat plastic envelope.
Flat
like
plastic
your beef
envelope.
jerky comes in.
and it's all liquid.
And
but
you can't see. There's no windows.
You
to
can't see it.
anything.
You can't see what's happening. Inside it is a smaller, flatter, tinier beef jerky packet with other things in it. And you're
Yeast
supposedly,
nutrients.
if you just put this thing in your hand and go, the smaller packet explodes and all your stuff mixes and your yeast activates.
Yeah.
I beat this thing like it stole something. Like it has been cheating on me.
Like it was your
Like
redheaded
it
stepchild.
wasn't giving me its share of the money, and nothing happened. I went and cut it open to pour it in, and inside is this little packet looking at me like, "You got nothing." So it's taunting me with its little, totally intact.
Right.
And so I sterilized the crap out of everything, and I pulled it out, cut it open, poured its stuff into the main packet, swished it up. I hope I didn't mess it up, but Smack Pack.
You said it was fermenting on a number of...
It's fermented on both beers. I can totally tell so far,
You're all
but
good.
I was really disappointed. I'm like, what do you have to do to this beer? Like, Red Room is nothing for this beer.
You need to work out more, my friend.
I know. I'm looking at my guns going, these BBs ain't cutting it. I'm going to have to go lift 80,000 pounds in a day so that I can build up enough to smack this pack and actually get my yeast to activate.
Which we did, but next time you could just hand it to your wife. I'm sure she could handle that thing.
Oh, thank you. And so you used the Y Yeast 1450 in both of these brews you picked up, or
Just on the Populux.
Did you pour it all in one brew?
I did. I
You
poured
were
it.
a crazy massive brewmeister.
Eh.
So I split mine between two because it's enough for 5 gallons.
I had plans to do that,
You had
but life got in the way while I was brewing the two
That's
batches.
our way of saying children ruin your lives.
I had the Stingray IPA going, which I was going to add it to, and then I also had the Populux Brewing going.
You didn't put it in the Stingray though, because
I
you
didn't put it in
used
the
the
Sting-
provided
yep.
packet in the Stingray,
Yeah,
which
it
is
just,
what we're really excited to try.
Yep. So what had actually happened was I meant to go pick up the yeast packets the night before when I had brewed the Stingray, and the store closed before I got a chance to get there because life happens. And then the next day I brewed the Cinder Block, and I had the packets, which I'd given one to you at work, and when I got home, I ended up just using it for this one, and I was about to head out on vacation, so I didn't have time to go find or brew yet another beer to add like the other half of the packet to. I just didn't figure out how I could like save the rest of this yeast. I probably could have put it in a jar and sealed it up and put it in the fridge or whatever, but I didn't.
Cool story,
So
bro.
I just added it all to this one, and we'll find out how it works, and maybe I'll harvest some of it.
I want to see how that goes. And shout out to Tony. Is that where you got your yeast?
Yeah, Tony Oshner, Microbrew.
Microbrew.
They got it.
Nice. So
Oh, speaking of, so we did a review on the Tally the Timid.
Tally the Timid. That was our last episode.
That was our last episode, although by the time you hear this one, it might be our...
No, it was still our last episode.
Well, we just recorded an episode before this one.
Yeah, but that's for online only.
All of these are online. Just eat your chips. So I went over there and I took my brew over there and he and the guys there at the shop, they all sat down. They had their own little special tasting cups. We sat in the back room. We tried the Pico brew that I made, the Tally the Timid, and it was good. It was spot on. Again, I think it benefited from an extra day or so in the refrigerator, and I gotta tell you, I had a great time. I think it's a great beer. I like our assessment that it's kind of a thinness, like a thin Guinness, and then I would almost move the
It's
the
the Ally
rating up.
McBeal of Guinness.
It would almost move my rating up a little bit again.
What?
By another half star or
For Ally
quarter star.
McBeal?
No.
It's disgusting.
Anyways,
I'm
so
gonna get you a skeleton.
so
You can make
then-
love to that all night.
but then he's working on a extract kit that Micro
What?
Homebrew is gonna sell of the Tally the Timid. So full on, like, you don't put it in your Pico brew, you make it in a brew pot and all that kind of stuff. And I tasted that, and that was a little sweeter. It was a little bit different nuances to it, but still you could tell same style of beer, very good. And I really enjoyed it. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, crew. It was
Thank you, Tony. I'm gonna get by and meet you at some point, and thank you because you've improved our lives immensely. Just having those fermentation buckets that you got from him
big deal.
has improved my life immensely.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm really hoping Pico Brew continues to follow through. But weren't they working on a solution to allow us to use our own grains and hops?
I think that was part of the Pico U Kickstarter campaign, was going to be your own ingredient spin for it, but I know they're focusing on the new
The
Pico
Z for
Z.
now.
Yeah, so
Yes. So they have not. So a lot of people said, "Why'd you cancel this new Pico U?" It's not canceled. Postponed. So it's just like the Seahawks next Super Bowl. It's not that it's not going to happen. It just might be a while.
Thanks, Richard Sherman.
No, please get rid of that guy. I just obviously
Are you talking to the Niners now?
mixed personalities on this thing. Sherman and Bennett can go suck a rod.
Fishing lingo there.
This is fishing lingo. You're right, and thank you
Sweet.
for. Yeah, hey, we may not win as many games, but at least we'll be fun to watch. I don't know where to go with that. I'm going to enjoy more of this beer.
On that note,
Are you cutting me? Is this it?
no,
Am I going away?
I'm sending you to the Niners.
Oh,
You
I've
can-
been traded.
You can go hang out with.
It's all
Sherman.
right. I got.
I'm just kidding. We
Handsome
got-
Jimmy
dude, I have-
Garoppolo throwing to me.
True. I do have like another ounce and a half of beer I can drink. All of it.
Do you want to do that on this spot? Oh, you're done.
I'm not done.
Last impressions. Since you just drank it all at once, you got a big mouth of it though. You hadn't done a big mouthful, and that's where you get the biggest, fullest, juiciest flavor.
It's good.
Tasty.
It's really good. It even kind of benefits from warming up just a tad.
Yeah. Quit listening to this and go brew this beer, you fools.
On that note, PicoDudes.
Out.
You've reached the end of another episode of the PicoDudes podcast. Connect with us at PicoDudes.com, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And if you enjoyed our show, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, but mostly iTunes. Also, if you want a code that will help give you some discounts off of the Pico Brew equipment, Z150D equals $150 off of the Z series. Pro, Pro 125D gives you $125 off of the Pico Pro, and C75D gets you $75 off of your purchase of a Pico C. We hope you enjoy listening. Look forward to hearing from you. PicoDudes out.